Hey everyone, this is Andrew at Plainview Farm, and in today's video I'm going to show you the parts tractor that I bought that I'm going to use to make some upgrades to my 1955 Farmall 300. So what I have here is what's left of a Farmall 350, and the Farmall 350 is what replaced the 300. The 350 was the next model up, and if you remember in the previous video where I discussed the 300 was the replacement for the H. Now I guess the only difference between the 350 and the 300 was a little bit of styling. Instead of being totally red, solid red, the 350s had white patches on them, white details on the hood and the grille. The 350 had an engine with a slightly larger bore than the 300 that gave it a little bit more power, and a restyled fast hitch for those tractors that had the fast hitch on them. The primary reason I wanted this tractor for parts was to get the fast hitch off of it and the live PTO. The torque amplifier, which is this handle here, and you can see the linkage that runs right up along there with the clutch. That wasn't anything that I necessarily had to have, but it's definitely a bonus. It's something that I'd love to put on that 300. And something else that I'm also gaining with my parts tractor here is a transmission housing, rear end housing that doesn't have any cracks or repairs made to it. It's all solid, it's all original. My 300 has a repair right here from a crack on this spot in the transmission housing, which was probably caused by a ball bearing falling down and getting caught underneath the bull gear. Also, this bottom bolt hole that is necessary for the fast hitch bracket has been welded up also in order to fix a crack. As I mentioned, this is a redesign on the fast hitch. If you look up pictures of the fast hitches that were originally on the 300s, they do have a different design to them. They have a bracket that comes up here on the top, and then there's a hydraulic cylinder, I believe, over here on the right side that kind of helps with draft. I think that's what the hydraulic cylinder is for. And those of you that may have a little better knowledge and know the details a little bit better than I do on that, by all means, comment down below. Just a quick history lesson from memory here. The fast hitch was International's answer to the 3-point hitch. The problem with the fast hitch was that it was about 20 or 30 years too late. Where the 3-point had 3, obviously from the name of it, points that it connected to the tractor, the fast hitch only had 2. The 3-point required the operator to get off of the machine in order to connect all 3 points to the implement. Now the great thing about IH's fast hitch was that if the implement was setting halfway level on the ground, the operator should not have to get off of the machine in order to connect it to the tractor. Now naturally that saved a great amount of time and was much more efficient, a whole lot easier to operate. The only reason they should have to get off the machine was to connect a PTO. Another great thing about the fast hitch was the down pressure that they had. You could actually lift the back of your tractor up with the fast hitch if you had something on it to put pressure onto the ground, almost in the place of a jack if you needed to change a tire or anything like that. Now the fast hitch was first available on the Super Cs in I think 1953, and then in 1954, 1955, they were available on all of the 100 series tractors, which replaced all of the letter series tractors. They also had fast hitches available for the Cubs as well. Now there are a couple parts that need to be replaced, some wear parts that need to be replaced, those kinds of things, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with what I've got here. I feel like I've got a great starting point for my 300 there. So this here is a drawbar that Randy threw in to go along with what I bought. As you can see, whenever you insert this into the fast hitch arms, it drops down and catches right here so that the implement or the drawbar, whatever it may be, is secure onto the hitch. So I mentioned earlier that Farmall's fast hitch design was probably 20 or 30 years too late, and the reason that I say that is because by the time that they had developed their fast hitch, the 3-point, the patents on it had expired and everybody was putting 3-points on their equipment. The market had become flooded with 3-point implements to the point that it was difficult for them to gain any traction, and they were unwilling to license the fast hitch to any of the other manufacturers. It's definitely a case of what could have been. So I did open up the cover on the TA, and there's definitely some wear in there. There's still fluid. There's still plenty of fluid inside the housing here. So, you know, we don't have any issues there with gears with the TA sitting outside of any fluid. But the TA clutch, all of that, you know, there's some bearings, stuff like that's going to have to be reworked. But that's not anything I wasn't expecting. My full expectation was to have to completely rebuild all of the parts that I've got. And, you know, at this point, if you're taking things apart, you're going to be putting them on a different machine, you may as well make sure that everything that you're using is going to last for a good long while. Replace those seals, replace those bearings while you have the opportunity, or at least while you're tearing things down while it's easy to get access to them. But we've got free movement, the axle spins, everything spins like it should. I really don't expect there to be any major problems with anything, hopefully. So a little bit of a backstory on how I ended up with this tractor. Another YouTuber, the Collector on the Corner, saw my video of my 300 where I talked about my 300, gave a little bit of history on it, how I ended up getting a hold of it, as well as what I wanted to do with it. And he left a comment on that video saying that he had this tractor that he'd be willing to sell. And as it turned out, he was only located about 70, 80 miles from where I live. So I got a hold of him, let him know that I was interested in it, and then here just over this past weekend, I went and picked it up.
Pretty good right there.
Hi there. This is Debbie for Collector on the Corner.
Yeah, there's Debbie, the Collector on the Corner. There's the Collector on the Corner's wife. All right, everybody, this is Randy, the Collector on the Corner. That's how you find his YouTube page. Just search for the Collector on the Corner. And everybody do me a personal favor and subscribe to his channel. Let's try to get him over 1,000. So he's close. He's close. We need to try to get him over 1,000 subscribers. So, and I just want to say this: if it wasn't for guys like Randy who were pulling in these machines that may be broken down in order to get good parts off of them, there wouldn't be enough parts out there for guys like me who want to keep their machines going or make changes, upgrade them, whatever it may be. If you like old tractors, old cars, that kind of stuff, then you need to recognize the debt of gratitude that we owe to guys like that who save this kind of stuff from the scrapyard when a lot of other people might not see that it has any value at all. So that's what I've been up to lately. The next thing I have to do with this anyway is to get it unloaded off the trailer and figure out where I'm going to put it so I can tear it apart and, well, I guess start trying to figure out the next step in putting things back together. And naturally, when you have other obligations, it's kind of one of these things that you do as you can. It's going to be a process, but at least we've got us a starting point now. So big things are coming eventually. And once again, I want to say a big thank you to Randy and Debbie over at the Collector on the Corner channel. Again, give them a subscribe if you haven't yet. As always, I appreciate you watching. We'll see you next time.